Hello friends, this video on work, energy and power part 9 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exams. Please make sure that you have watched all the videos from part 1 to part 8 before going ahead with part 9. Relation with work done and force. So in this slide we will see how is potential energy related to work done and force. So let us quickly review certain things. So for potential energy, what is the unit? It is joule. And what is the expression for potential energy? It is mgh. Now let us write the dimensional formula for potential energy. Mass, that would be m. G is nothing but acceleration due to gravity. So for acceleration it is Lt to the power minus 2. And h is height, so it is L. That means the dimensional formula is mL to the power 2, T to the power minus 2. Now, if we want to write the dimensional formula for kinetic energy, so even that has joule as its unit, and the expression is half mv square. So the dimensional formula for mass is m, and for velocity it is Lt to the power minus 1. This square. So this comes out to be m L to the power 2 T to the power minus 2. Now why did I do this? I just wanted to show that if you compare potential energy and kinetic energy, they both are equivalent dimensionally. That is, they both have same dimensions. So what we can say is, we already studied work energy theorem, correct? So according to work energy theorem, the change in kinetic energy was nothing but work done. So similar to that, we can say that the change in potential energy is nothing but the negative of work done. Why is it so? Let's take it this way. We know that in any system, the total energy remains constant, right? We know it from conservation of energy. We will deal with conservation of energy in detail as we go towards the end of this chapter. So total energy in any system is constant. That means the change in total energy is equal to 0, right? If something is constant, that means change in that particular thing will be 0. There is no change in total energy, that is total energy is constant. Now this total energy, we can write it as sum of kinetic and potential energy. And this we can write as delta K, that is change in kinetic energy, plus change in potential energy is equal to 0. Or change in kinetic energy is equal to negative of change in potential energy. So from this we wrote this expression, that if change in kinetic energy is equal to work done, then change in potential energy will be negative of work done. So this is how potential energy is related to work done. Now work done is written as F of dx, right? So work done can be written as F of dx. So from this we find that force is nothing but negative of dp by dx. So in this case I have used capital P, which we normally don't use for potential energy. As I already told you, potential energy is always denoted by capital V. So let me change this to capital V to avoid confusion. So this is my potential energy. So this change in potential energy is equal to negative of work done, and it is related to force in this way, that force is equal to minus derivative of potential energy with respect to distance, that is force is equal to minus dv by dx. Please remember this very significant formulas, because they will be very much useful when we go ahead and study other concepts. Now let us look at the relation of potential energy with force. How is potential energy related with force? Now we have already seen that potential energy, which we generally denote by V, is given by m into g into h. So we can say that potential energy is a function of h, because here we can see that mass and g will remain constant. So it is the value of h, that is the height, which will keep changing. So the value of potential energy will keep changing with the changing value of h. Now from this we can write dV by dH. What will be dV by dH? This will be equal to mg. Right. Now just observe carefully. What is this mg? Mg is nothing but mass into acceleration, or we can say that this is the force or the gravitational force which the surface of the earth exerts on any object which is placed at any height. But since this force acts in the downward direction, so it is a negative force. So the force is basically, force is equal to minus mg. This force is exerted on the body by the surface of the earth. This force is exerted on the body by the surface of the earth. So we say F is equal to minus mg. So now using this relation, we can say that dV by dH is equal to minus F, or we can say that force is equal to minus dV by dH. That means the rate of change of potential energy with height. So we can say that the force is related, the potential energy and force are related with this expression, that is force is equal to negative of rate of change of potential energy with height. Right? Now let us go ahead and look at how does the energy conversion, or how does the interconversion of kinetic energy and potential energy take place during the fall of a ball. We consider here also we consider that let us suppose that there is a ball of mass m which is lying at some height h above the ground. So what do we consider here? We consider a ball of mass m released from a height h. That means this ball is at a height h from the ground. Say this is the ground, this is height h. From this height, this ball is released to fall towards the ground. That means this ball is falling towards the ground. So we want to see that how is it that the potential energy is getting converted to kinetic energy, because what we studied till now, when the ball is at this position, at that time it has potential energy. Now when the ball starts falling, it gains kinetic energy, right? So what happens is when the ball is released, it comes down with increasing speed. Now just before, we'll write it, ball when released from height h, it comes down with increasing velocity. So just before it hits the ground, just before hitting the ground, that means at which point? Somewhere around this point, just before it hits the ground. At that time, what would be the velocity of the ball? That would be given by kinematics third equation, which is v square is equal to u square plus 2as, or we can say v square is equal to u was 0 because initially the ball was at rest at this point. So this is 0. What is a? A is nothing but g. And what is s? S is h. So we see that v square is equal to 2gh. Correct? So what will be this is the value of v square just before it hits the ground. So at this position, what would be the kinetic energy? Kinetic energy would be half mv square. That means half into m into, instead of v square we write 2gh. So we can write this as mgh. So what do we see? The kinetic energy just before it hits the ground is equal to the potential energy which the ball has at this point. So what do we see? Here we are calculating the kinetic energy at, let us name this point as P. So we are calculating the kinetic energy at point P. Now let us see the potential energy at point Q. Let us say this is point Q. So at Q, what will be the potential energy? It will be mgh. So what do we find? We find that the potential energy at this point Q is equal to the kinetic energy before it hits the ground. That means the potential energy gets converted into kinetic energy, and the total energy when it was above a height h and when it reaches the ground remains the same. So so what did we observe here? Here we observed that when an object falls freely towards the surface of the earth, the potential energy which is stored in the object by virtue of its position gets converted into kinetic energy, which makes the ball move. Thank you. Visit examfear.com to watch free educational videos, try free online tests, get the best quality study materials, study from the best tutors and mentors, and much more. Thanks once again.